humans. I'm Gemma Drone, and today I want to talk about this current state of affairs that we're in right now because this past week has been so incredibly intense for all of us. Just when we thought that things would start to get easier, that the quarantine would start to lift and we'd slowly go back to normal, things change, and we have this whole new um, thing to look at, to feel, to acknowledge. And it's hard for me to even know where to start with this because it would be easy for me to pick one aspect of this, whether it was racism or hatred or, violence or whatever it is, and compare it to awakening and act like I have it all figured out. But that's just not the case because I don't have it all figured out. And I'm feeling all of these things as intensely as you guys are. And so I will probably cry. And I realized today that I hadn't cried about this yet. I hadn't cried about the intense emotions. I hadn't cried about the death of an innocent man and about all of the hatred in this country. And so I would invite you all to cry with me if you want and just let it go because we can't hold it in and we have to give ourselves permission to feel whatever it is that we're feeling. And I think oftentimes we think that maybe, we feel guilty about feeling certain things. We shouldn't feel the way that we're feeling because we're not suffering the way that other people are suffering. And there's all kinds of ways that we justify not feeling what we're feeling or not expressing what we're feeling. And so first we have to be present with what we're feeling. And when we can acknowledge that, then that is a way of connecting with everyone else on the planet and recognizing that we're not alone in this and we're all affected by what's happening. And, this intensity that just keeps on getting more and more and more and more intense is really challenging for everybody. And I think so many of us just want to give up. We don't know what else to do anymore. We don't know how we're supposed to contribute. We don't know, how we're supposed to move forward in this climate. And so we have to go back and start with ourselves. We have to see what this is bringing up in us. And because whenever we are triggered, whenever we are feeling these emotions, whenever these things are reflected for us, it is bringing up things in us to heal. And so just like we've been comparing the coronavirus to the awakening experience, because we know that there is a collective awakening happening on this planet. And, that gives us a lot of hope. And then things like this happen. And we feel like all the hope has been stripped away. But I have to say, this is always a part of the awakening process. We know that when we begin to awaken, it's like the veil is pulled down and we see things clearly for the first time. And it's not always easy to see things so clearly because we see them in their raw form. And so what has happened in the past week or so is that veil has been stripped down and we can't pretend anymore that there's no racism. We can't pretend anymore that there's no hatred in this country. The veil's been stripped away and we see clearly, and it hurts. It hurts to see so clearly, but this is how change is made. Whether it's personal or whether it's collective, change is made by seeing our downfalls, seeing our limitations, seeing where we've screwed up, and facing it head on, recognizing that we can't hide from it anymore. And so this is part of our collective awakening process. We're having to look ourselves in the eyes. We're having to face this head on. And we're having to ask ourselves, how do I want to show up? How do I want to contribute? How do I want to give back? How can I help this collective healing process? And, the very simple answer is always, 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 always love. It's always love and compassion. Because if we allow ourselves to be triggered and respond in anger, then we're just adding to that energy that has created the problem in the first place. And so we have to watch ourselves. We have to call ourselves back and step into love before we move forward and participate in whatever way that we choose to participate. And so, using this time to do your own healing and recognizing that, even though it may feel selfish to focus on yourself at a time like this, that it's really the least selfish thing that we can do, because we all need to show up on this planet from a place of love, from a place of power, from a place of deep compassion for each other. And we can only do that if we have deep compassion for ourselves and deep love for ourselves. And so keep doing that work and know that any change that happens is usually really difficult and really painful. And you can look at your own lives when there was big painful circumstances. There was a lot of productive change that came out of it. So this is part of the collective awakening that's happening right now, and it's an important part. And so I would just encourage you all to cry if you need to cry, to feel exactly what you're feeling, and to go deeper and recognize what else is it in you that needs to heal right now. And so if you're struggling with this, trying to figure out what it is that needs to heal or how to heal it, or you're stuck in some part of the awakening process, or really just blown away by what's happening right now and not sure how to move forward, then please send me a private message and we can talk and we can see if the work that I do with my clients would be a good fit for you. So sending so much love to all of you during these times. Just take care of each other, take care of yourself, and use this as an opportunity to learn how to love deeper, to love more, and to have more compassion for each other. All right, I love you all. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in the Facebook group.